Hi, we're Doug and Vicki Heron. We're from Lamar's, Iowa, and we're here to talk a little bit about our daughter, Sister Consolation of the Afflicted, and her vocation with the servants of the Lord.
Growing up, she was a normal girl. When she got to be in junior high and high school, she was in plays and speech, band, volleyball, golf, just about everything that she could manage to fit into her schedule. So, and then and this was at the Catholic school. My wife taught at the Catholic school. And then after that, she went to college, to a Catholic college, and was going to be a nurse. She was working on her degree to become a nurse. And I believe it was in her second year of college, she comes home and she says, I really don't enjoy the classes for being a nurse, and I want to switch to theology. And I thought, theology, I said to her, what are you going to do in theology that you can make a living being, with a theology degree? And well, we had no idea at the time, but that this was kind of in the hopper. So this is kind of where it all started.
She has a sister. Her name is Jessica, and they were like normal, everyday kids. They were the best of friends when they got along, and then they were the greatest of enemies when something didn't go right. So she wasn't a perfect child by any means. She was just a normal, everyday kid doing the normal things that kids do. So her story of where she becomes a sister, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see her. So this is Sister Mary Consolation of the Afflicted today. You can see she's very happy. She started with the Servants of the Lord and the Virgin of Matra in the fall of 2011.
When we took her out there on Labor Day weekend, and it was kind of funny. We went to Saturday Vigil Mass that weekend, and we went to the Basilica, to the
National Shrine.
The National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. And we got there early to pray. And while we were there praying, one of the ushers comes up to us and asks us if we wanted to take the gifts up that day. And I thought, well, that's kind of unusual. Don't they have people to do that? But I said, we would do that. And it was really a God-given gift. We were able to take our whole family, took the gifts up. We took the bread and the wine up, and we had our daughters there with us. And it was like we were giving our oldest daughter to God.
She was our offering.
We were taking her up as our offering. It was the coolest thing. Anyway, so that was the beginning of that. And then before we left, there were a lot of tears that weekend. Dropping her off, we didn't know how things were going to go. She wasn't going to have a cell phone. She wasn't going to have a computer, limited access to the telephone. That first year, she had a lot of limited access on these things. And so we were kind of fearful. We didn't know what was going on. This was all new for us. And we were scared, and everybody was kind of crying all the time. And Mother Immaculate had just gotten back from Guyana, and her parents were there to visit her because they hadn't seen her for over a year. And her dad saw me and saw how sad I was, distraught, sad. And he said to me, "Don't worry, you're not losing your daughter." He says, "You're gaining a whole bunch of daughters." And as time went by, how true that really was, that there are so many of the sisters that we've become so close to that they're almost like daughters to us. It was very true what he said that weekend.
So after about 4 months, then she took on the habit. She became a novice, and she wore a white veil for that. The wonderful thing was we could be there at each of these different steps along the way of her formation. Then she made her first vow. And after she made her first vow, then she moved to the Juniorette in Washington, D.C., where she had formation there for a couple years. She took her final vows in September of 2018. And again, we were able to be there when she took that vow.
You know, that's one of the things that was very important for her when she was choosing an order, was to find, first of all, full habit. Second of all, she wanted to do mission work. And thirdly, she wanted an order that felt that their families back home were very important. And the Servants of the Lord was a great fit for her in those three ways. And, you know, when your daughter's growing up, you think of them, you know, as a normal parent. You think, oh, they'll get older, they'll get married, they'll have children. Okay. And we thought, well, how's that going to happen in the beginning? You know, no more kids, she won't get married, right? But we were wrong. When we got to the final vow time for her, she got married to Christ. And she made vows to Christ, like a marriage, like a true marriage. And she got a wedding ring. I went and picked out a wedding ring for her, and she received a wedding ring that day. There was a prenuptial dinner. There was a reception and festive activities afterwards. It was truly like any other wedding. It was very beautiful.
She also had gone to Italy for a year. She studied in Italy at the International House of Formation there. So while she was there, we didn't get to see her that whole year, but except that we decided that we were going to go and see her in Italy. So it was an adventure for her to be out of the United States, but it was also a real blessing for our family that we were able to see different things and really deepen our faith as we visited there. And that's something we continue to do in each of the places that she has been stationed. She was in Canada for a few years, and we got to go and see her there. In addition to the time that she would come home and visit us. Every year she has 2 weeks that she gets to come and visit back home. There, when she's home, she gets to evangelize just in the way that she does her work. She doesn't necessarily have to give talks and things like that, but she, when she can, she likes to go to the schools and see the kids. And then she's also able to come home for other things, such as she was home for her grandfather's funeral. She was home when I received an award, and things that are important for our family. The Servants of the Lord are very good with working with the family so that the daughters can be a part of those family celebrations.
And, you know, it keeps her connected with our parish back home. And then when people have needs, maybe there's something that they need somebody to pray for them, you know, back home here, they'll come to us and they'll say, you know, could you call the sisters? Could you have the sisters pray for so-and-so for this reason? And, you know, it's really a beautiful thing to have that connection and to be able to help people with their needs that way.
And I encourage you to pray with your children. Make sure that if they are at all thinking about a vocation, not to discourage them in that. It is a very beautiful thing to have one of your children have a vocation to the religious life, whether it be a male side of the Servants of the Lord order, the IVE, or to the Servants of the Lord, the women. They are a very beautiful order. We love that our daughter is there. We miss her, of course. We get to talk to her a lot more frequently now, but it's something that has been a true blessing for our family. Anything else you want to add, Doug?
I just that there's a lot more blessings to this than what we would have ever imagined. I wish as our children were growing up that we had talked more about vocations with them and, you know, asked them to, you know, at least think about it, you know, and maybe we should have prayed more along the way. If we'd have known how wonderful this was going to be for us, I think we'd have prayed a lot more when they were younger. Um, and I think all parents, should pray, if not for their own children, for someone else's. So,
because our vocations of tomorrow is the church of tomorrow, and we need to encourage the church to continue.